Manchester United are in crisis, a fallen giant desperately searching for a way back to the top. But what if the answer come from a mastermind known for tiki-taka football and total control of the pitch? In this video, we're rebuilding Manchester United under a mystery manager, and over the next 5 years, we'll find out if his philosophy can revive the glory days at Old Trafford. Can we turn United from mid-table mediocrity back into Premier League champions? It's going to be intense, tactical, and full of drama, and trust me, this one is not easy. Oh, and if you want to play along, the save file and the exact same tactic can be found up on my Patreon, where currently we're celebrating 40% off. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe on the video, comment below what you think of this manager, and whether you'd ever want to see him at this club, and let's see what happens. So then, Manchester United, and we are going to reveal the manager very, very shortly, but I'm going to let you guys have a bit of time to think about a guess of who you might think it could be. Now, what I will say is, Manchester United, we know about the club, don't we? They are one of the biggest clubs in world football, based off name, brand, and history. You know, they're a massive, massive club. The last, God knows how many years, things have not been running smoothly. Now, it's not always on the manager. The higher-ups and the whole atmosphere is just really, really poor, and they are still nowhere near to really fixing it. And as Amorim is likely to get the sack, I imagine, this season, I was probably bet a bit of money on it. I thought, do you know what? A little bit of fun. I support Manchester United. Let's have a bit of a series where I test different managers and we'll see who does best. And first up, can you guess who it is? Well, that is going to be Xavi. That is right, there has been links in the past, and he has shown a big interest in coming to Old Trafford. Now, we are going to be using one of the tactics I've got of Xavi. That is going to be his Barcelona version, of course, the last team he was at. And again, at any part of this video, you want to grab this tactic and save file, you can do so by going over to that Patreon, where we have got over 290 tactics this year, over 80 rebuild files, and next year there's going to be even more as we go daily with the tactics and also increase the rebuild amount. So make sure you are going to check it out. But before we look at the tactic and actually see where it might do well, where it might not do well, let's just quickly remind ourselves about how good this club can be. Great reputation, obviously. Good training, good youth, decent youth recruitment. The owners are enjoying life at the club. They would be. And looking at the overview, I mean, what haven't we won? We're talking about a team that has won 20 Premier Leagues, 3 Champions Leagues, you know, Super Cups, FA Cups, Carabao Cups, 21 Community Shields, but we are nowhere near the club what we used to be, and that is a simple fact. It's not just Amorim's fault. It's not just the previous manager's fault. It's the whole club from the ground up. And today, we're going to throw Xavi in and see exactly what he can do. Now, of course, that will include playing a very realistic tactic, and that is exactly what we have got, the Xavi Barcelona tactic, a tactic that actually thrives off a much shorter passing style, dribbling less to favour more tiki-taka approach, a tactic that obviously is still quite intense on the counter press and also on the counter, and uses a higher defensive line. Now, there are some people in this tactic who aren't going to fit it, and some of the first names out the door, which I'm going to do next season, and I'm going to say it very early on, we will be using the editor to offload the likes of Casemiro, because sometimes the game never lets me get rid of them. So there are going to be players going out of the door. Now, let's just remind ourselves that this is not a realism rebuild, okay? This is a what if happens rebuild. So some of these players that you might think, oh, get them gone ASAP, they might actually work within this system. Now, what I will say is there are some names on here who have to go because they literally just won't stay. And that will include, obviously, the likes of Onana. It will include the likes of, where is he? Where is he gone? He's run off. We are going to get rid of Onana. We are also going to get rid of, you know, Rashford. We're going to get rid of Højlund permanently. And, obviously, I mentioned Casemiro. Maguire I'm going to sell because he would not suit this system at all. The likes of Dalot I'm going to keep for now, but I think in a few years I will sell him. Apart from that, I mean, basically this system and the way that Xavi likes it is very confident players on the ball at the back. And I mean, De Ligt has got decent passing range and is still 25, so we're going to see how he does. Martinez has got 15 passing, so he really does meet that quota. As for Maguire, you know, he's not got bad passing, he's just a little bit sluggish, and at 32, I think we can bring in someone a little bit younger. Of course, we have got Lenny Yoro to use, who has not got as good passing, but why would you sell him? He's 19, he's just come in at the end of the day. And of course, we are going to go over and promote Aiden Heaven, because this guy already looks pretty decent. So I'll do that before I forget to do it. So he is also going to be in the team at the bottom. Now, not in Season 1, but in Season 2, Season 3, we are going to lock in the new goalkeeper. There's been nothing but love for the Belgian, and he does look really promising. Little things like seeing your goalkeeper collect a cross shouldn't really be that exciting, but it is as a United fan. So I'm going to make sure he does play a lot of games. Now, looking at the wing backs, obviously those are up for debate right away. They really, really are. In fact, we sort of put out the team that I'd like to play. So definitely this goalkeeper, these two centre backs. Now, we are going to sign people as we go on through the windows, but for Season 1, they're going to keep with what they have done in real life. And obviously, we've got the likes of Sesko up front, who has, you know, finally started scoring goals, which is really good to see. I think there is a good finisher in there. He just needs to find that confidence and form and then run with it. That's what he needs to do. As for the likes of Mbuomo, he's very, very decent, is what I'm going to say. I want to use him because obviously United paid such a big figure for him, and he is something, you know, which Xavi potentially could get the use out of. Very direct, taking on players, good on the ball, decent passing range, you know. He can suit it quite well. As for Diallo, obviously, he's a player who at one point recently was everything for United, and I do fear about his future, to be honest. And that's not because he's a bad player. He's a sensational player. But of course, we've got Cunha, the other new signing, who has not been as good, not as much on the races, to be honest, but another player that I think Xavi could honestly get some decent performances out of. Very technically gifted, and obviously that is what Xavi is all about. And you know, you look at the other options, obviously you've got nothing, because we're going to make sure Rashford goes, because Barcelona will pay that £30 million, therefore we're not going to use him. And yeah, the likes of Bruno, obviously sensational player, not doubting his quality. We're going to keep him for a couple more years, then offload him to Saudi. Mount I'm going to keep because I like the work rate, I like the stamina, I like how much he gives to the team, and also very versatile. And Kobe, well, as criminal he's being, you know, not going to say treated the way that he is, but he went from everything to then just having to fight back into the team. So we're going to make sure he gets a fair look in, and we're going to build up as we go. Like I said, this is a experiment slash rebuild, really. I thought it was a bit of fun. As a Manchester United fan, we could do a few of these. So if this video gets 70 likes, we'll do it with another rumoured manager, and leave a comment below on the manager you think should take over. The one with the most likes, I will make sure gets turned into a video. But we are playing in free competitions, of course, no European strain. Now, what do I want to win? I want to win everything, don't I? But realistically, in 5 years, I'd like to win 2 Premier Leagues, Champions League, and a few of these cups. Now, in the first season, we are predicted to finish in 5th place, which I think is quite fair considering recent performance, and I would actually happily take that. Honestly, for this first season, anywhere in the top 6 is a sensational good stepping stone to build up on. Now, I do think, based off how good this tactic is, obviously it is a Xavi tactic, he's a world-class manager, I do think we can progress from 5th and get into the top 4, and I do think that we can get the best out of some of these players. But of course, we're not going to know until we're actually in there and seeing what has happened. So let's get in to Season 1 with Xavi in charge and see what happens. Well, he's got us to an FA Cup final against Arsenal, so a big blockbuster game, and Bruno is going to find Cunha playing on the left-hand side, back inside into Benjamin Sesko, and that's going to be 1-0 just inside the second half, and we go on to win our first trophy in a big, big final here, with Cunha stepping up into Amad Diallo. Great to see him play, and that is why you keep him. So if it's that easy, get the contract signed now. We are going to win Trophy 1 in our first season in the FA Cup. The question is, what else did we do? We've got the Carabao Cup and, of course, that Premier League. The Carabao Cup, we don't win. Now, it's not an awful display, apart from the way that we lost it. We get battered 5-1 in that second leg, but it's not a bad display in terms of where we got to. You look at the quarterfinals, we absolutely blitz Arsenal in 4-1 fashion. The 4th round, we blitz Everton 4-0, a fantastic performance there. And the 3rd round, not a blitzing, but we do scrape by and show a little bit of that winning spirit. And you know what? I'm going to take that. And because we got second, I'm going to say that's a ridiculously good season. We nearly won the Premier League. Obviously, Champions League football is back at Manchester United, back at the Theatre of Dreams. FA Cup winners, semi-finalists in the Carabao Cup, and it is going to be Brian Mbeumo who is going to be the top goal scorer for our club, with Bruno Fernandes, no shock there, being the top assister, but also Brian Mbeumo tying with Jadon Sancho out on loan. And Mbeumo had a really, really good season, which is very refreshing to see, and that was all done with him playing on the left-hand side. Cunha occasionally played there, but he played on the left. 33 goal contributions. Cunha with, 31, 26 for Diallo. I mean, that's 51 from Bruno, 16 for Mount. Cobby done great, Shaw done great, Dalot done great. Now, I didn't lock in the goalkeeper for the first season, because obviously we've got all these players to use from this season. The next season, we are going to use the editors to offload Casemiro, Onana, Rashford. Don't worry, they are going to be gone from the team, and we're going to sign some replacements, and that would mean, with obviously Onana gone, we can have this guy in goal for a total of about 4 seasons. So it's going to be a really good indicator of actually how good this player could be. And looking at what I'm seeing, we had a really good time. I mean, Cunha up front, to be honest with you, done very well. Sesko with 17 and 3, 6 and 1 for Maguire. Our players out on loan, I mean, Sancho cooked 37 goal contributions. I might run it back. I might keep him. Rashford 9 and 3. That is as good as done. So, and there's actually a club that actually wants him, so I will offload him. The same as Højlund, I could see him going. So we are gonna potentially let him go, or we might keep him. I'll decide on that one as we go basically through it. But do you know what? For a first season, I'm quite happy with that. Now, we look into the Premier League, of course, the most possession, the Xavi way. And I often think, even if Amorim now can press this team into a shape like this and kept some of the same fundamentals that he likes, would we do better? And I'm going to say it, I think we would. But going into the next season, we are going to have a budget of 206 million pounds. Of course, we've got a lot of debt as a club, so I'm going to try and chisel away at that as well. But we are given a big budget to go and improve, and that's before we have sold the likes of Casemiro, the likes of Onana, the likes of Rashford, the likes of Højlund potentially. There's a lot of people we can offload as well. This is going to be a mega window, guys. So we are going to offload Rasmus to Napoli after he is going to go and have a decent season, and we cash in 44 million. So taking a bit of profit from obviously what we paid. Oh, no, that's a lie. That's what Atalanta paid. A 20 million pound loss. I was going to say, didn't we get him for 14 million? I was about to say, God, we got an absolute bargain. But it is a bit of a loss. But to be honest with you, with Sesko up front, and to be honest, Cunha really impressed me up there, playing up front, and I think I'm going to give him a small shot to be the rotation. We are now going to lock in players, so obviously the new goalkeeper, Sesko up front. I might even consider locking in Dorgu, to be honest. But we are going to give Sesko his big calling, and then Cunha can play the rotation games. And I just didn't feel like I could give enough games to Rasmus guaranteed. As we are going to cash in on Casemiro, he is now claiming £1.2 million a week at Al Hilal for 24 million. Now, he does go and have a pretty decent season, it has to be said, but for that sort of money, they have to be mental. I know he's a big name, but he's no Neymar. He's not going to change the face of the league. 1.2 million. Harry Maguire is also going to be offloaded because he doesn't really suit the tactic long term, in my opinion. He is going to go to West Ham for 12 million. Again, we're never going to recover the 80 million pound fee, but 12 million is not a bad price tag to get for a 34-year-old. Marcus Rashford, of course it would, I can see this happening. He's enjoying his time there now, very comfortable where he plays, and he is going to join Barcelona permanently for 35 million. Very sad to see one of your own leave, but I think there's been too much damage to be recovered now, and I think Barcelona's a very good fit for him. So nothing but the best for Marcus. We're going to take the money and invest it elsewhere. And then Onana is also going to go to the Turkish league for 29 million, which I think is pretty fair, to be honest. I could have given myself more, but I didn't. He is worth a little bit more, and I've kept it quite humbling with the price tag, so I don't give myself too much money. So a lot of players have left this season, a lot of pressure to have a really good transfer window, but luckily I have sort of looked at two things. One, the players that I want, but two, players that will fit into Xavi's system. Player is going to be Gurhi, of course, still stuck at Palace. I say stuck, they're a very, very good club, doing very, very well. But he would work really good because he's got the pace, the acceleration, and the pace to play with that higher line. He's got great passing, good tackling, good heading, a really good pre-built centre-back that you know is going to work in the Premier League because he's done so well in there already. Now, we do pay 59 million, and he does play almost every game, a decent average rating, and just a player that I can pretty much bank on working. Also pick up Carlos Baleba, again, several links, and there's no reason to me to think why Xavi would not like this player. You know, he's very good on the ball, good first touch, good passing range as well, good technique, good work rate, good stamina, good concentration, just a really good player to have who can obviously operate quite deep or even centrally to both a good level of the Premier League. Now, he costs big, 69 million, 6 goal contributions, which is pretty decent for his first season considering he was flipping between him and Cobby, who played in the deeper role. So what I'm trying to say is he wasn't always playing in an advanced position in that midfield. And I think for that price tag, there's not many better people on the market. And the last signing, that is going to be Bradley Barcola, of course, doing pretty decent at PSG, but there has been several links of him, you know, getting moves away and things like that. And I just think he's really, really useful. I mean, blistering pace, decent dribbling, decent composure and finishing, good first touch, good passing, good technique, good off the ball work as well. Only 24, 18 goals, 13 assists for 52 million. Now, it's a big spend of 180 million, but of course we generated 144 million, and we also had that budget of 200. So we've only really spent, what, about 40 million? So I think we can sit here and be quite proud of the business we have done. We've offloaded some players that clearly won't work and brought in players that hopefully will. But the key word in that sentence is hopefully. It's worked in the Premier League because we are going to be right in there. We're going to win the Premier League by 7 points, 27 wins, 7 draws and 4 losses. Liverpool drew 12 games. That is mental. Who have they got in charge? Arne Slot at the helm still. I mean, that feels like losses for a Liverpool team. 12 draws is crazy. But what we are going to see is Bruno Fernandes with 15 assists, Bradley Barcola with 13, Cobby Mainoo with 12, Barcola with 18. Now, I didn't do the lock-ins for this season. I was meant to, but honestly, I forgot. So we are going to do it for the next 3 seasons. But this does give actually a fair chance for players to work their way into the team, and it could actually change who I was going to lock in. So I don't regret doing it, actually. It was done by accident. But there's a couple of players that have taken my eye that I am keeping an eye on by the time we get to the 4th or 5th season. One of them is going to be Barry, because he is a monster on this database, but he's a little bit too pricey at the moment for me to bring him in, because Sesko hopefully will really, really start turning up for the big time. But a very, very good Premier League season, and once again, possession we're going to be very competitive in, good defensive record, good amount of goals, and obviously, the main one, the most points. And as a team, we are scoring over 2 goals a game, great pass completion, hardly any goals conceded. Maybe it's Xavi's time. As in the Champions League, we go invincible. Now we are finally back with wins over some pretty easy teams, to be honest with you. Not exactly the most challenging league phase, into the round of 16, where we get, not lucky, but a very close game actually against Lazio, into the quarterfinals, a 5-2 win over City. Definitely happy to see that. And the semi-finals, it's a close one, a 6-5 win over Barcelona. And we're facing Spanish giants Real Madrid in the UCL final. Sadly, things do not go our way. We are going to concede from a set piece in the 67th minute. Definitely time for the new goalkeeper to come in. That is awful from Alte Banadir. And we concede another set piece in the last kick of the game. And again, you can question everyone. Not good. And there is also no other trophies won in this season. Runners-up in the Community Shield 2-1 over Manchester City. The Carabao Cup, a 1-0 loss against Arsenal in the quarter-finals. And the 5th round of the FA Cup against Newcastle being ran by Julian Nagelsmann. That game we also did go on to lose only by a goal, so quite close in all of these, to be honest. But we have won the Premier League, and that sort of voids everything. And considering we also got to a Champions League final, I think we can sit here and say, wow, This is some turnaround. We're Premier League winners, we're back into the Champions League and instantly into a final. And the team, you can see, towards the end, I actually did lock in some players, but they weren't locked in for the whole season, hence why Alte played a few games. Sesko, 13-3, is not exactly the record amount of goals I want him to be setting, as Cunha is actually still preferred up front. 29-5. Barcola had a great season, as did Bruno once again, 24-31, and Mbeumo 18-19, 27-19. I mean, it's a great season. What I am noticing is, though, the wanted signs are available on a lot of these players. De Ligt is wanted by Newcastle, Bruno wanted by Saudi, that could happen, and Mbeumo by Barcelona, Barcola by Barcelona, Martinez by Newcastle. You're going to have Mason Mount wanted by Newcastle, Tottenham and West Ham. Diallo's going to be wanted by West Ham, Dorgu by Bournemouth. A lot of our players are sort of on the cards of a lot of these top Premier League teams, and I sit here and I think, do you know what? Some of these names can potentially go. We've got to take it very seriously the next transfer window, because it is now coming into the time where Bruno might be considered to be sold, and we need to make sure we replace him. Now, I've got a couple of names in mind that I'm not going to spoil, but I think will work in this system, but it all depends if we've got the money to make it happen. Now, looking at it, from a base value, we've got 219 million, but we still have a staggering, eye-watering amount of debt to pay off. And looking at the club, the last thing we want to do is really go and spend 150 million on one player, because that will just push us back a few more years. But at the end of the day, if I'm cashing in on Bruno, I've got to get someone of similar quality, because we have just won the Premier League, got to a Champions League final. Surely it's only up from here. Well, there's going to be one signing coming in and no outgoings this season. That is going to be Camavinga. I've decided to keep Bruno for one more year, as we're just going to make sure this guy actually does work in midfield. And obviously, there's limited doubt. He does relatively well. He's one of the best midfield players in this game, and he just looks an absolute dream to use. He's got great marking, good passing, good tackling, good first touch, great physical stats, great teamwork, great work rate, good anticipation, good aggression. He's only 25, a world-class midfield player. Yes, it's a lot of money. I mean, it literally was 101 million. He's on 400k a week, but we are going to generate money back from competition money and also the players we are going to sell in the next season. But getting him when he was available, it has to be done. He was the player that I wanted from the get-go. Obviously, we couldn't really afford him in the first two windows, but we go big on one player. This can sometimes pay off really well, because we've got a team that has just won a Premier League, so I didn't really want to add too many new faces or lose too many faces. But the question is, are we good just to run it back with just one new addition? Let's go and see. Well, the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea, a trophy we have not won yet, so I do want to try and win it, and we have got Mbeumo playing at his best. Over the top into Sesko, a 1-0 lead inside of 20 minutes, and if these two link up like that more often, we are going to have a field day this season. Sesko into Baleba, playing a little bit more further up the pitch now, taking on the back line into Mbeumo, and that is going to be 2-0 in 35 minutes. And again, it is the Mbeumo show. He's really, really playing well in this 4-3-3 system. Shaw down the left-hand side, taking on his man here, a great ball into Sesko, it's a poor clearance, and Baleba is going to make it 3 in 42 minutes. And so far, this final is very much one-way traffic. And it appears in the second half it's going to be the same. Ahmad comes on. Cunha should have got a penalty there, but Barcola recovers it, and that is going to be 4 in 80 minutes. And the only positive for these poor Chelsea fans is going to be a pointless, but I guess okay, consolation goal. That is going to be the Carabao Cup 1 in the third season. Also lift the Community Shield on penalties over City. That game was a lot closer. Well, it could have been a treble of English trophies without the Premier League included, because we nearly won the FA Cup. Sadly, we are going to lose to Liverpool on the actual big day, but that's still not a bad display. And we are off to another Champions League final where there is going to be one goal, and yeah, we've done it again. It is back-to-back bottles of Champions League finals against Liverpool. It's happened again. I don't know how these players players have got any motivation to carry on. Florian Wirtz had a great season in the Champions League. You can tell it's a video game, can't you? I'm going to the semi-finals, though. We did deserve to get there. I mean, we are going to beat PSG 5-1. Quarterfinals 4-2 over Madrid. 16 Atletico Madrid. We got past some of the best teams in Champions League history and just couldn't get it done on that final day. Now, what I will say is we do win the Premier League, which is back-to-back years. So really, really impressive. And again, very close with Man City. We pick up 27 wins, 7 draws, quite a lot of draws, and 4 losses. Sesko nearly up there with Erling Haaland. This is good to see. This is very good to see. The most clean sheets in the Premier League. That is what I love to see. Now, he was locked in, but still he has to play well. And he has played very well. More clean sheets than Lucas Perry, Donnarumma and Alisson. Bruno Fernandes, in probably what is going to be his last season, picks up the most assists. And as a team, we are still going to be joint first with the possession. But this time, the most shots, the most clean sheets, the fewest conceded, and the most goals. We're not only improving in terms of winning trophies, but general performance. And going into the fourth window, we are going to have a budget of 167 million, a club which the debt is being absolutely chiselled away, and a tactic and team and philosophy on paper that I'm buying into and the players are buying into. The goalkeeper literally was one of our best players. Sesko, 45 and 11. You look at the players around him, we'll put Sesko in that team, and Buomo's having a great time, 23 and 16. Bruno had a great last season. Camavinga stepped in and had a great season. Barcola's always been a great addition as well. Cunha still playing well, 13 and 6. I do honestly, Kobe Mainoo 1 and 10. Sancho even doing quite well as a backup. Diallo doing very well. I do think these batch of players could do very, very good in a more common formation. I really, really think that, and I would love to see Amorim give it a go, but I do understand his stubbornness, because some would argue it's better for him to get sacked having stuck to his principles than try something, it doesn't work, and he's also then known as the guy that got sacked even though he tried to change. So I think it's just a stubbornness thing, to be honest with you. But for us, we're absolutely flying, you know. The club is up big time. I mean, look at the arrow, it's going through the absolute roof. And the thing that I want to win now, obviously, is a Champions League. The Premier League I'll happily carry on winning, but I can say this right now, I will happily sacrifice a Premier League title. I'll sacrifice all of these for one Champions League. So let's get into season 4. Try and make it happen. This is the season where I'm going to cash out on Dalot. Now, with Bruno, I want to sell him realistically without using the editor, and I've not been able to offload him yet, so it might be that his contract just expires. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind if that did happen, because we are getting the most out of him right until the last day. Now, with Dalot, I think obviously in real life, a lot of United fans want him gone right away. I obviously held off a little bit, but I have inevitably sent him back to Porto for £38 million, which actually was his value and still is. So I've not given myself too much money. I've given myself what the game suggests. And yeah, I just think he's sort of give us everything that he could offer. And now his time's up, putting it bluntly. And we don't hold about. We are going to pick up Vanderson, you know, a player that is very, very good in this game. He is going to come in for £52 million. Great bit of business there from Atletico, by the way. 4 goals, 4 assists. And what can't the guy do? He's rapid, can put in an incredible ball, good dribbling, good first touch, good passing, good tackling, good technique, good work rate, good vision, teamwork, off the ball decisions, everything you would want for a player in general, he can do. He's even got 14 composure and 11 finishing. He is a perfect right back. So for 52 million, I'll pay it 10 times over. We also strengthen up the backline with another Argentinian, a bit of a Alessandro Martinez vibe. It is going to be Valentin Gomez. Now, he cost me 73 million. Again, good bit of business from Dortmund. A 7 average rating, 2 goals, 4 assists as well. And he just is really helpful because he can cover left back. He can also do a very, very good job at centre back. He's middle-aged, so he's not too old, and he can hack with my system, you know. He's got decent passing. It's not great, but why I picked him is because of that pace, that acceleration. He can really hack that defensive line, and he's not going to get caught out. And he also scores points for being versatile at left back. So it's 2 very, very good additions. both coming at the back though. Clearly, that's what we needed, because we are going to maintain and retain a third Premier League back-to-back win, with Sesko being the top goal scorer, Lehmann's being the most clean sheets again, which is beautiful to see, probably helped out by the new backline we have got. Barcola, Sesko, the best average ratings. Bruno, Camavinga, Barcola, all in the assists. Now that right there is a team that I can get behind. Possession, fallen a little bit, but still up there with the best in the league. Outscoring everybody for fun. And defensively, well, we've been the best pretty much from day one. This might be the way we've got to go. Well, a chance to win the Community Shield over Liverpool, which would be very nice to see, wouldn't it? And we are going to go 1-0 up in the 75th minute with a goal from Diallo, which should have been being the key word, all we needed to do. But sadly for us, we're playing Liverpool. They are a very, very, very good team. And they've made some pretty good signings as well with this man on the ball. And it is going to be Isaac making it 1-1 in the 95th minute, meaning we go all the way through to penalties, where Bruno steps up and it's a great pen into the bottom left hand corner. Isaac is going to step up against Lehmann's and he is going to score into the top right hand corner. Cunha is going to step up, good penalty into the top left. Who is it? Johnson stepping up against Lehmann's, and it is a fantastic save from the new goalkeeper, as now Xerxes, who is still at the club as a backup, does redeem and puts it into the bottom right hand corner. Florian Wirtz steps, a very good penalty where credit has to be given. Vanderson, our new right back, of course he will not miss. He's an absolute manager's dream. Their new man, good penalty to be fair, into the bottom left hand corner, but we win 5-3. And things were looking golden, a Premier League, a Community Shield, but then we don't get to a Champions League final. We lose in the semi-finals against Barcelona. And truth be told, apart from this game against Dortmund, there was just not really the same vibe, you know, closer games against Chelsea, the league phase, you know, like, although it's still good, we went invincible, but we just didn't really have the same buzz about us in the Champions League. We simply weren't going to win it, and I could tell that from the quarterfinals. Speaking of quarterfinals, we do lose a penalty shootout against Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. And to add a little thing, an extra bit of negativity into the video, we also lose against Tottenham 1-0 in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. Now, it's still a fantastic season because we've won the Premier League, we've won the Community Shield, but I want to win the Champions League, and I'm going to say it right now. I will sacrifice some Premier League games next year to win that competition. Now, the Premier League, don't get me wrong, it's amazing we're doing as well as what we are. We only lost one game this entire year, but I need to win a Champions League for my own sanity, and that's what we're going to make happen. Now, it will 100% be the last season of this man, because he is 34. In fact, you can see it. He's joining a Saudi team in 2027. So he is going to be leaving us, but he has had such a good career at Manchester United. But sadly, no Champions League trophy. Looking at this team on paper, though, it is such a good team. We'll put Lehmann's in there as well. They have done such a good job. Sesko is firing for fun. 49-2, 5-11. But I still think there's a world where, for example, Cunha's pretty much been playing better on one of the wings. Let's just put him on here for now. We get Sesko up front. There's a world where I sell Xerxes and go after a younger striker to compete with Sesko, because Sesko's still young. He's only 25, but we can get someone who's a little bit younger, or even someone the same age but a bit more of a fierce competitor, so we can really push them against each other and hopefully have strikers that are scoring 40 goals each or something. And if you watch this video, we looked at a player, didn't we? And if you have watched it, big love for that, because you'll know who I'm on about. But if you don't, it will be a surprise. And with the money we have got, which is going to be 152 million, I think we can land the big man up front. So I'm going to try and make it happen. But so far, despite the Champions League being challenging, we're doing a great job. So that is confirmation of Bruno going to the Saudi League for 38 million. He has a pretty decent season, and the Portuguese man's not going to be starving on £725,000 a week. Going to wave goodbye to Luke Shaw. I think it is time. He is 34. He, again, has had a mixed career at this club. Injuries have been a big issue, but we are going to cash in 27 million and get our money back. And you know what? I think it is just the right time to move him on. He's not even been playing that bad, but he's 34. sure he'll be slowing up soon. Joshua Zirkzee has not really stood out at all, but he's stepped in for the odd game when it's been needed, not really done too much, and I actually send him back to Bologna for £13 million, where he instantly redeems and goes on a good run. So fair play to him, but he just simply is not going to get in the team because I've signed another forward player. That's going to be Barry, coming in from AC Milan. Now, he got a move from Everton, and he is going to be our main striker now, with Sesko having to work to fight to get that position back. When you see a man like this on the market who suits this tactic so well and scores nearly a goal a game, he does cost me 78 million, but drops a great average rating, a good amount of assists as well. You have to buy him. He's rapid, very good finishing, good dribbling, good composure, good technique. He's just a pre-built machine. Machine, whatever you want to say, this guy scores goals. And that is what we want in the Champions League. As we also spend 61, I believe, on another winger. And that's going to be Minter, coming in from Brighton, former Newcastle man. Again, he has got weaknesses, this player, I will say. That is going to be his finishing, but everything else is really good. He's a player that we're going to mainly bring on into games, although he does actually play 25. 5 goals and 8 assists. £61 million. He was brought in to be a bit of a bench player, to be honest, that we can bring on and just run at. I mean, he can run at anybody. He's rapid, good agility, good anticipation, good dribbling, good first touch, good technique. Tricky winger, can play on the right and the left-hand side, but he's actually worked his way into the first team. I wonder who he outcompeted. 34 million, we are going to welcome in Tom Roth, coming in from Real Madrid, and he actually had a pretty decent season. Now, of course, with Valentin, he can also play, that player we signed, the Argentinian, he can play centre-back and left-back. So, to be honest with you, it is going to be a fight between him and this guy to play there. We've also got Dorgu, who can play, of course, but this guy is a bit of a more slow option at wing-back, but I like the fact that he's just really well-rounded. We've got pace around him as well, you know. Luckily, our centre-backs are quite quick, so it's not the end of the world. This guy's not the fastest. He has got a lot that I look for in players. He's got decent passing, good crossing, good dribbling, which is key for a Xavi tactic. And he's only 25, so although it is his first shot in England, hopefully he takes it. And to replace Bruno with a younger player, it is going to be Isaac Babadi, coming in from Real Madrid, 24 million, 12 goal contributions. Now, let me make it very, very clear. When I say replace Bruno, I'm not saying he's better at all. He's my idea of someone who can come into this team and get the ball moving, you know. Good crossing, good dribbling, good first touch, good long shots, something that we've been missing, good determination, very good everything really, quite quick on the ball, versatile, still quite young, pre-built, you know, 1 con compared to 11 pros. The guy is an absolute dream, and for that amount of money it might sound like a lot, but 24 million is hardly anything for a player of this caliber, and that finalizes the last window. And you look through all of these windows, we've done a great job, you know, 180 million, but all of these 3 players have been absolutely key. Camavinga's been world class, Vanderson and Gomez have been very, very good, and now we're going to see what these players can actually do over a whole season in terms of, can they win me a Champions League? And I'd sure like to say yes, but time's going to tell. And as for the players that we've sold, you know, I think we've done a very good job of offloading the players that simply aren't going to work in the system. You know, Rasmus, Casemiro, Maguire, Rashford, Onana. You know, you look at the likes of Dalot, Bruno, as they get older, moving them on. We've done a relatively good job here, but is it a success if I don't win the Champions League? I think a lot of people would say yes, but I'm quite stubborn. I'm going to say no. But we are going to fly through right to the round of 16 and actually have a bit of an easier game against Salzburg, which we are going to win in 3-0 fashion. The quarterfinals, a 10-4 win over West Ham United. Fair play for them to getting there. We then absolutely blitz Real Madrid 4-1, and we're playing Barcelona in the Champions League final. The one chance left we have got. Let's get it. And we're off to Budapest, and it is not going to be an easy game, but we are going to get off to a great start there. A bit of a poor clearance there, a great bit of press from Vanderson, and it is a great goal in the end from Kobe, I believe. A big goal for him in his very still early on days career. That should have been a book in that, but Mainu ends up recovering it past Rafinha into Gurhi, pushed up very high, basically playing as a left back now, and it is going to be new man Barry making it 2 in 26 minutes. And do you know when I said it won't be easy? Well, we're going to find ourselves 3-0 up against Barcelona in the Champions League final, all within the first half, with a goal from Mbeumo where Ter Stegen will not want to watch that one back. We then find ourselves in the 62nd minute, still dominating. Barcelona have had nothing the entire game. Mbeumo into Kobbie Mainoo, into Camavinga, the former Madrid man, and that's going to be 4 in 64 minutes. With Baleba driving at the back line right towards the end of the game now. 90 minutes on the clock. Roth, Camavinga, little touch. I mean, come on, Barcelona. But we finally won it, as we also win the Premier League by a point. So a very, very tight season, but that is going to be 4 times back-to-back, where we are going to be seeing Mbeumo, Barcola, second and third with the assists, Barry the most goals, Camavinga the 4th most goals. Very, very good attacking display from him. Clean sheets. We actually weren't locking in anyone this season, and Alte and Leymans are both going to be in there a little bit lower down the table. But the last season I sort of let everyone fight it out, because Leymans has had 2 years of getting that golden boy treatment of being guaranteed games. Now you fight for your position, and it's good to see that even though we're not spoiling certain players now, we're still winning stuff. We're off to the FA Cup final against Liverpool, and it is one of the best games you'll ever see if you're a Manchester United fan, because this man, Bradley Barcola, has one of the best first half displays of football I have ever seen, as he is going to find himself getting a brace very early on into this game, actually inside of 30 minutes. A fantastic finish. And what's better than a brace? Well, a hat-trick is better than a brace. Barcola down the left-hand side into Camavinga, been so good since he's joined. Kobbie Mainoo back into Barcola, and that passage of play there, Xavi signed the contract, because I tell you, if we can do that in real life, I would watch us every single week on highlights and everything, because that is, man, it's incredible. And the only goal they get is a pointless consolation. So yeah, Xavi, sign. We also lift I don't like this because it's Ipswich, it's my local team, but it's great they got to a final. Who are they being managed by now? Terzic, okay. In the Championship, Broby, Humphreys, Vuskovic, Aarons. Okay, it's an interesting team, but we beat them in the final anyway, so that is going to be 2 times inside of this rebuild. We don't win the Community Shield, sadly. That's only going to be 2 wins over a 5-year span. The FA Cup, obviously that game against Liverpool, we win that twice in 5 years. The Champions League, of course, once. The Premier League, we have won 4 times. So to be honest with you, I think this is a big success for Xavi. I mean, you look at what he has won. The reputation is now right back up to maximum stars. We can't do any more in terms of getting that arrow up any higher. Another Champions League, 4 Premier Leagues, multiple English Cups, and as for the finances, we have really done a sensational job. We have wiped the debt completely off the face of the earth. A really good financial winning rebuild is what this is, and I've left you boys and girls with a great team and a fantastic system. You've got a great front line, Barry 61 and 5, Sesko not really getting a sniff to be honest, but he is there to be used. Barcola had a great season, and Mbeumo had a great season, Camavinga had a great season, Babadi had a great season, Gomez, Gurhi, De Ligt, Vanderson. Do I need to carry on? Kobbie Mainoo, great to see him back in there, and we have done it really well. We've kept a lot of the players that have been signed in real life. Yes, there's new faces in the team, but genuinely, I think as a squad, we have really shown what is the potential of this club if we land the right manager, and not just a manager, but the whole club comes together. Now, if you have enjoyed this style of video, please let me know. It's something that I have never seen on YouTube in terms of like the potential of me rebuilding United for the next weeks. So say 4 episodes of this with different managers, and if there's a manager that has been heavily linked that you want to see a video on, please comment it below. And it's not just for United. I can do these almost like what if rebuilds with any top team you want to see. So if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As always, if you want to grab the save file and the tactic, it is going to be available right up on the Patreon, where this month we've got 40% off right up until the beta, and there is still time to enter this month's giveaway. I'll catch you in the next one.